Good morning, it's Alicia Ford with ERA Troy Realtors, and thank you for tuning in to part 5 of my home buyer series. We are almost done, I promise. Okay, our topic for today is going to be the appraisal. But first, let's do a quick recap of what we've already discussed. All right, so number 1, we talked about why you need to be pre-approved first before you start setting up showings with your realtor. Number 2, we talked about how to maintain that approval throughout the home buying process. And number 3, we talked about how to present a strong offer to the seller so that your offer gets accepted. And number 4, we talked about the home inspection and how to go about negotiating your repairs. All right, so now we're at the appraisal. So I want to explain a little bit the difference between the home inspector and the appraisers. Sometimes people get a little bit confused with the two. Okay, so the home inspector is chosen and hired by the buyer. And as we talked about on the previous video, the inspector is going to go in and check that home from top to bottom and make sure that you as the buyer are aware of any and all defects or issues concerning that property. Okay, also, they are going to be able to give you a lot of valuable information on how to maintain and take care of your property. So I always recommend that my buyers are present during the home inspection. Okay, so the appraiser is going to be a little bit different. The buyer does not get to choose the appraiser. The appraiser is sent in by the buyer's lender. Okay, and so the appraiser's job is to make sure that the home is worth what the buyer is going to be paying for it. Okay, so the lender needs to protect their interest and make sure the home is worth the sales price. All right, so the appraiser is going to go in, he's going to take a look at the property, at the condition of the home. They're also going to consider any upgrades that's going to help the value of the home. And also they're going to rely a lot on the comparable homes that have sold in the past 6 months in that area. So they're going to look at homes that are similar as far as the size, the style, and they're going to see what those homes are selling for. They're going to put all that information together and they're going to come up with an appraised value that they are going to report to the lender. Okay, so if that appraised value meets the price of the sales contract, everybody's happy and we're marching along to the closing. Okay, all right, if the appraised value comes in lower than the sales contract price, we have to take a pause. All right, because then we need to go back to the seller and renegotiate the sales price of the house. Okay, because there's only a couple of things that can happen at this point. So if we come in lower, and let's take for example that we have the house under contract for $250,000. Let's say the appraised value comes in at $240,000. So we have a difference of $10,000. Okay, so number 1, the buyer can say, I'm going to pay that $10,000 out of pocket at closing to make up for the difference. Okay. Number 2, the seller can say, okay, we didn't appraise, so I'm going to go ahead and lower the price to $240,000. Okay, so that we can go ahead and close. Keep in mind, the lender will not lend more than the appraised value of the home. So if we have a difference of $10,000, the lender is not going to be willing to go up to the $250,000 to approve that loan. They will only approve it at $240,000. So it's a potential that it could kill the deal if we can't renegotiate. Okay? All right. So, and the only other option that could happen is that if the buyer is unwilling to pay the difference and the seller is unwilling to lower the price to the appraised value, the buyer may have the option to terminate the contract. Okay? So basically, I wouldn't want to overpay for a property and end up with instant negative equity. And if I'm representing you as your buyer's agent, I would not recommend that you overpay for the property. So I hope that this information was helpful for you. And so you understand a little bit how the appraisal is going to work and even some information on the seller side as well that can help you as well. All right, so if this information was helpful, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. All right, once again, I'm Alicia Ford with ERA Troy Realtors. You can call me Alicia Keys because I want to get you the keys to your next home.